towards the end. But it was some very interesting comments. So I'm going to go ahead and touch base on them. And then if you guys got something to say about it, go ahead and say it. Michael's here in the comment section on the YouTube side. So if your comments get out of control, he's going to go ahead and show you a thing or two. But as long as you guys keep it appropriate, because we got some kids that pop in every now and again. It's not of the age of 18. We want to keep the comment section clean. So let's go ahead and get this started and see what these people have to say.
Her ex sent her a large teddy bear twice my size and 100 plus roses and idk what to do about it. Any help? So I'm 18 and she's 22. We have been in a relationship for 2 months. I'm not counting 1 month of talking stage. So we talked about our relationship and she said we are 50% official and I can call her my girlfriend in front of my friends, and for 100% she needs time. So she has her ex followed on Insta. They broke up 2 years ago. Today her ex sent her teddy bear, which is twice my size, and 100 plus roses. A lot of roses. At first I got embarrassed that I could not buy her those stuff, and her ex did. I do buy flowers, but not that expensive. At first I told her what she's gonna do with them, like throw them away. And she said no, she's keeping them both. I told her, are you gonna put those flowers next to the flowers I gifted you? And she said, yeah, but far away, so yeah, I'm a little bit heartbroken about it. Then I said, why did he gift you those stuff when he knows you have a guy? And she said, we talked about it like she meant we are not 100% official. Am I wasting my time here? We had our first kiss two days ago at a party. Edit. She also mentioned that he's just wasting his own money. Also, this is my first relationship. Also, she told me I'm the only boy she went out on a date in 2 years. Some of you mentioned that she bought those flowers and teddy bear, but I actually don't know. He spent so much money that it's someone's 1 month salary in my country, and it's just too suspicious. I'm 1000% sure they have zero contact, and she even said she broke up with him. She also said it's not 100% official yet, because when she made things official that fast before they did not go well. I really love this girl, and the option to just leave her and stuff just won't work with me. Update. She kept flowers and teddy bear when I visited her house.
Okay, so there's two ways that you can look at this. Uh, it can be a problem, especially if you're going to be insecure about it. It cannot be a problem. It is, in fact, a red flag. Um, she broke up with him, so he hasn't gotten over her. They're still in communication. He's still trying to win her back. For some reason, she's still entertaining the conversations and accepting all gifts that he sends to her. Whether or not she values them from an emotional perspective or she just likes getting free stuff from a guy that's giving her stuff is yet to be determined, but it doesn't really matter. If you feel uncomfortable with it, because this is a monogamous relationship, remember we talked about this on the show about how certain rules operate under certain conditions, uh, or certain relationship rules operate under certain conditions. Specifically, once you made it clear to her that you weren't comfortable with her collecting gifts from her ex, she was supposed to return those gifts to sender, sell them, take the money off of it and buy herself something different or whatever the case may be. But the gifts themselves were a gesture of love and affection from her ex, and she is not supposed to, in any level of commitment to you, be accepting any gestures from her ex. Um, by her making it clear to her ex that you and her are not close enough for her to respect you as a man and reject these gifts from him. She is still thoroughly in a communication with him where he knows that he still has a shot of getting his girl back from you because she has not decided yet if she's going to stay with you. That's not right. So, in this particular dynamic, since you're not willing to give her up, you have to balance the emotional discomfort from her juggling two men the one that she has versus the one that she no longer has, because the finances that he had, she wanted, which is why she's willing to accept stuff from him. But the way that he treated her, she didn't want, which is why she's with you. She likes the way you treat her, but you don't have the money to waste on her that he did. You might be financially stable, but the lavish things in life, the luxuries in life, a lot of women, especially Western women, are more familiar with being spoiled by society. So, and being spoiled by society is not an insult, ladies. Being spoiled by society means that people will buy you things that you didn't earn, which inherently means you didn't deserve it, but you're getting it anyway because you're cute, because you're present, because they're attracted to you, and that's the only way that they could express it appropriately. Whatever the case may be, you're getting all of this free stuff because you breathe, not because you did anything to deserve it. And being spoiled in life, women who can't get that in their relationship because their relationship is financially challenged, they're willing to accept free flowers and free gifts. It could be a life size bear. It could be like literally like a 7 foot tall bear, $300, $500 bear. It could be expensive $700 worth of roses, and she'll take that because the roses are only going to be there 2 weeks and then they're going to die, right? But the fact that she could take a picture in front of it and post it on her social, she can, oh, look at these roses that I got, and gloat about the fact that there's expensive roses. Now, she could also swing it as if she got them from you, but it's the fact that the gifts, in a sense, are just gifts. When she starts acting on the fact that she's getting these gifts, that's a problem. But also the fact that she is still in communication with her ex after 2 years, that's also another problem. Now, my advice to you, because this is your first relationship, this is going to be hard for you to let go. It was easy for you to get into. You went head over heels with it, but she's still attached to her ex, believe it or not. If she was quote unquote done with that relationship, she would have no communication with him. She has moved on from him. She would not be living in the same house, especially if she's living in your. Well, you said that you went to her house, so he would have her address. And if he's sending stuff to her address, I mean, she can send it back, but she could also just keep it. But the fact is that she's not supposed to be verifying with him that this is okay. She should have communicated with you. Well, first of all, she should have blocked him, and he should not have been able to communicate with her. But if you're going to allow her to communicate with her ex, she should have communicated with you that, like, if it was her birthday or Christmas or something like that, and uh, he had already sent it, he notified her that it was on its way. She can't stop the package from coming, and she notified you that this is going to happen, and you agreed to it, then that might be okay. But just like, oh, this shit popped up and like you're just supposed to be fine. No, hell no, that's not okay. Now, ladies, let's flip the script. Let's put it on the other side now, because I know as I'm talking about this, because this is a woman, a lot of women are going to be like, oh no, he's misogynistic. Now let's just flip the script now. Let's flip the script now. Um, how would you feel if your boyfriend that you just started getting with has his ex girlfriend making home cooked meals and delivering it to his house, cooking him breakfast first thing in the morning at his house, making dinner in the evening time at his house? They ain't got nothing going on. She's just coming over and feeding him because she knows that he doesn't do a good job of taking care of himself because he spends so much time working. Most women would be offended by that. Most women would have serious red flags by that. What if she was sending him gifts? What if she was sending him Rolex watches and herringbone gold chains and uh, you know fitted caps and brand new Jordans? What if she was sending him gifts? Ladies, y'all would be intimidated by that. Y'all would be offended by that. Like you would expect your man to send it back or sell it on eBay. Don't accept nothing from the ex. Now, since that is what a woman would say to her man if he was getting gifts from his ex, this woman's position should be that she's not getting anything from her ex. That's just me being uniform. But if you're going to allow it, bud, you have to be careful about that because She's allowing you to tell your friends that she's your girlfriend. She ain't telling her people that you're her boyfriend. She ain't telling her man she can't accept anything. She can't tell her ex that she's not accepting anything from him because she's already got a man. You see what I'm saying? So y'all are not off to a good start. Y'all are on a rocky road right now. And it ain't gonna get no better. If she does not decide to commit to whatever it is that y'all have, y'all are going to stagnate until your lack of comfort will cause you to walk away. But she is not respecting your feelings the way she would expect you to respect her feelings. Since this is your first girlfriend, you're not her first boyfriend, probably not her fifth boyfriend. Her ability to be selfish is easier because you don't know what to do in a relationship. Strongly recommend you reassess your situation. You might have to get back out there and find somebody that is not just single for 2 years, but single for 2 years, not communicating with her last relationship. That should be a big red flag that you should not progress past the first date. Y'all should, you said y'all was what, 2, 3 months in and she's still talking to her ex? No, no, no. We wouldn't have made it past the third date on that. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the next one. Let's get the next one in here.
I don't know what to do anymore. My friend who I'm roommates with has been homesick and so negative about everything and anything. It's literally all she brings up. I miss home, I just want to go home, I'd be okay if I was home. Like, yes, I get it. Trust me, I've been nothing but understanding, especially as someone who's the opposite. I do not miss home at all, so I can't relate to her on that level. She's quiet almost every single day when we walk to class and stuff, and I want to ask if she's okay, but I just know she's gonna just say yeah and continue to stay silent. I have asked and got that exact response. Sometimes I'll try to start up a convo, and I'll just get straight up ignored. It makes me feel like absolute crap. Like, are you mad at me or something? Do you hate me? I'm starting to notice that she's only ever engaged in conversations when they're about her. Don't get me wrong, I'm more of a listener than a talker anyways and have been my whole life. When I try to talk about my day or my interests, she doesn't seem too engaged or interested as I am when she talks about hers. Even if I know nothing about what she's talking about, I ask questions. There's so much more, but she just seems so miserable and I legit don't know how to help her. I've done everything I can to support her and tried to ease her feelings of homesickness and her pessimism, and it's legit all I've been worried about. Is her problems, her pain, her stress. I just feel it all, and I suppose that has to do with how much empathy I hold for others, but it exhausts me because I can't do anything about it. I know this all probably sounds selfish or close to it. But I swear that's not the case at all. I'm completely selfless when it comes to her. I hate talking about my problems because it shouldn't be anyone else's worry. I think that's just a me thing though. I care for her so much, and if I could take all the horrible things she's feeling away, I would. I shouldn't be letting this affect me and my life, I know that. I just can't help but feel her energy.
Have you ever heard of being a sidekick? Yeah, that's what you're experiencing right now. She is showing you exactly how important you are by not valuing anything that you have to say, any of your concerns, anything that matters about you. She prioritizes herself on a regular basis, and being a people pleaser, wanting to be accepted, you dismiss yourself so that you can be accepted by her when she is focused on herself and she wants you to focus on her. Um, and if you're going to maintain engagements with her, you need to make sure that she is aware that you do exist and she needs to acknowledge you. You have concerns. She should put effort into you the way you put effort in her. Me myself, I would phase out of this scenario um just to see if she's actually going to look for me, right? Because you know exactly how much a person values you based on how much effort they put into reaching out to you. So if they don't reach out to you every day or every week, or if they don't reach out to you but once or twice a month, that shows you that you're lower on their pole of priority than the people that they call on a daily basis. And y'all go to school together. If y'all live in the same place, you're listening to the same complaint on a regular basis. Sounds like y'all are in college. And the fact is that if she want to go home that bad, she can take her ass at home. She should have went to a community college near her house, so she didn't have to commute. Excuse me. But now that she is out living on her own, she needs to figure out how to navigate things. But she also has to express mutual respect. And mutual respect requires her to respect your feelings and your concerns and address you the way you address her. Now, if you can't get that from her, you having a pity party with her and her pain is only going to drag you down. And that is not good for you. So, if you can't get improvement from her, you're going to have to phase out because it is not going to work for you emotionally. You're going to continue being the sidekick in a situation until you break down yourself. And when that happens, since she is not valuing you, she is not even going to recognize the fact that you broke down. And that's going to mean that you're going to be in a situation where some other friend that you have will be picking up your pieces. You have to prioritize yourself. It is important when you're in a relationship to put value on the other person, but not to the magnitude where you are sacrificing yourself, where you start feeling suffrage. Whether it's emotional suffrage, financial suffrage, you are not supposed to sacrifice yourself to the magnitude that you experience suffrage. So if she is not reciprocating your efforts, your relationship is one sided, be it a friendship or what have you, classmates or what have you, and you need to redefine that, reassess it. If she's not willing to cooperate with that, remove yourself from it and find people who will value you for the kind-hearted, generous, and empathetic person that you are. Because you do deserve better. You deserve to be acknowledged. You deserve to be recognized, cared for. You deserve to be prioritized by people who are going to value you for who you are. And if that's not happening, we just finished talking about that yesterday. You need to change your inner circle. Let's go ahead and talk about the next one.
Nobody ever wants to be friends with me. With
Mm.
friends and dates, they seem interested at first, but then cut me off once they get to know me. And I don't know why. And I know there will be people who will try and reassure me and say you haven't found your people yet. But I am definitely the common denominator here. Like, I wish I could just ask people in my life who have left why it was, but obviously that would be unfair to them. I just want to change whatever it is that I'm doing wrong or not doing. But how do I do that when I don't know what it is?
Actually, that's not true. You can go to all the people who shut you down and be like, "What is it about me that you don't like?" Since they don't like you, they're going to give you an honest assessment. They're going to tell you all of your flaws. It is going to hurt your feelings and destroy your self esteem. But if you write down every negative thing that they say about you, some of the stuff you can fix: personality, hygiene, uh, physical attributes like going to the gym and working out your weight. But there's certain things that you're not going to be able to fix. Your skin complexion, your height, your financial situation. You can't change that overnight. And whatever the case may be, if they have a common uh issue, like you might play too many video games, or you might not be self-sustainable because you live at home with your family members and they're looking for somebody who lives alone. If these are the things that are going on, then yeah, you can make certain changes and then you can improve yourself. But uh how do you change if you don't know what's going on? You can't really change. However, there is one way that you can change. Michael says, first change your ego, no promise pig. Well, it's not necessarily an ego thing. Well, maybe with the last girl would be a change of ego, but with the current, with the guy that we're talking about right now, it's not really an ego thing. He is self-aware that he is the common denominator in all of his failed engagements. So he understands that there's something about him that society doesn't like. When you The first thing you have to do is find a commonality in the type of people that you involve yourself with. You can assess what their expectations are in a man, and then you can assess if you meet those expectations. If you're always trying to associate yourself with an 8 or a 9 that's highly attractive, there's a lot of competition up there. Those individuals are looking for a more successful man than you, or they're looking for somebody that is more has a larger social network than you do, or they are looking for somebody that is financially wasteful and you're not, or if they're looking for someone that has more of a prestigious approach in life that you don't have, you can tell what their issue is because you said again, they start off liking you, but once they get to know something about you, they all turn their backs and walk away. Matter of fact, you can analyze what have you told people about you, and when you said something, did they stop communicating with you? Because if you guys were talking and the communication that you're having is about, usually the first few nights is, what do you do for work? Do you go to school? Do you have a degree? Do you have any kids? Child support? Have you ever been married? Do you live alone? Do you own your own house? Do you own your own car? These are kind of questions that women typically pay attention to. Do you have money in the bank? Do you have stuff that she can get out of you? That's the type of questions that you get from women. They very rarely actually try to figure out what kind of personality you have, what kind of characteristics that you have. They very rarely pay attention to how compassionate you are. They really surface level questions, and it's not because women are in any way, shape, or form shallow. It is that in our society we don't know what to ask each other, so we ask the exact same questions. Are you stable? Questions. Are you mentally stable? Are you financially stable? Do you have any crazy exes that are hunting you down right now? Like those are the kind of questions that we ask. So as a result, along the lines of those questions, at some point you have given the same response that leads them to believe that you're not the stability that they're looking for. And yeah, how much money you make. And if you're in a low prestige occupation, they typically walk away because they don't like your job. If it's a low income, low prestige job, they're definitely going to walk away. If you are a man in the making, you don't got your stuff together, they're definitely going to walk away. Some might like your attitude and keep you as a male friend, but that's going to put you in a friend zone where you have no opportunity to advance that engagement into an actual romance because in modern 2025 society, it is a split. It is not a stepping stone. The friend zone is not the stepping stone to a romantic relationship. It should be, but it is not. The friend zone is the rejection zone. You were rejected, but she'll still communicate with you because she can get stuff out of you, whether it's emotional validation, financial compensation, a free babysitter, whatever the case may be. So, since friend zone is rejection, if you are not accepted for who you are, you cannot, as a man, accept the friend zone because you are not going to progress with her beyond that. But she will, at some point in your relationship, lean on you for the type of support that she should be getting from her husband because you're husband material, just not the kind of material she's looking for. Right. So, yeah, you can kind of figure that out. If you're continuously chasing the kind of girls that are always looking for a good time and you don't have that kind of money, that might be your problem. If you're looking for the women that like to travel the world and you don't have that kind of money, that might be the problem. If you're looking for women that are looking for adventure and you're not adventurous, that might be the problem. So think about what type of person that you're attracting, that you are attracted to, that you are attracting, and then find out what they want. Because just like we talked about before with dating online, the algorithm shows you what you are attracted to, but that does not mean that they are attracted to you. The algorithm shows them what they are attracted to, but that does not mean that you're attracted to them. Just because one uh, 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 characteristic puts you guys on each other's profiles, you might like the photo, not the bio. You might like the background of the photo, but not the personality of the person when you meet them. So the fact is that you have to find out what they're looking for in a person and see if you meet that expectation. And if you don't, that's why. Certain things you can change and certain things you shouldn't. Because as men, we're not trying to be people pleasers. We're not trying to uh, be what somebody else wants us to be, losing our own individual identity, because we would not want a woman that is going to be what we want her to be, losing her identity. We want her to be her. She wants to be accepted for who she is. And I completely agree with that. But if she's going to be accepted for who she is, flaws and all, the man that she chooses has to be accepted for who he is, failures and all, financial shortcomings and all, lack of stability and all. Because if we're both flawed individuals, as we work towards uh, the ideology of perfection, we're supposed to be working towards that together. Because when we find each other in life, we're not where we want to be at. But if we both have the drive to get there, we can work together to build each other up to be the person that the other person is proud of. But I mean, since selfishly, Western society is not like that right now. Western society wants a pre-constructed perfection, not a build-a-bear scenario. And that pre-constructed scenario is unrealistic. You're not going to find the perfect person that was self-made to be exactly what you're looking for in life. You have to find a person that is reasonably, look, he said exactly, I am not a computer, I have flaws. You have to find a person that reasonably can do some of the things that you're expecting, and then everything else they can learn along the way, because you're going to teach them how to be the type of person that you want. She's going to teach him to be the kind of man that she wants. He's going to teach her to be the kind of woman that he wants. And you guys grow and learn to better suit each other while focusing on each other's goals. But you make the perfect person. The perfect person just does not exist in society. And you're not even going to be able to make the exact perfect person. You're going to make a person that you can tolerate for the remainder of your life. You're going to make a person that you're good with. You're going to have arguments, you're going to have frustrations, you're going to have pet peeves towards one another, but it's not going to be so drastic that you can't spend the rest of your life with them, because you are going to have him learn certain things, but he's still going to be the him that he was when you met him. So if he's the kind of person that takes his clothes off from the front door all the way to the bathroom, you're going to be the kind of woman that's going to pick all that shit up. Because that's something about him that might not change. But if you're the kind of woman that makes him take out the trash, no matter how inconvenient it is for him, he's going to be the kind of man that take that shit to the dumpster, or the trash will just pile up into the house. She's going to be the kind of woman that's going to demand that you put the toilet seat down, and you will have to find a way to keep the toilet seat down. He says, so please leave the toilet seat up. Look, I have learned, I'm old now. I have learned in my life that you can play video games a lot better if you're sitting on the toilet. So if I'm sitting on it, it should already be down when I walk out. But also, in all fairness, um, you should look before you sit, ladies. So when it comes down to why the seats got to be down versus being up, because if it's up, you know it's clean. If it's down, no one ever looks underneath it, and then nobody ever cleans it unless somebody is actually appointed to toilet duty. Uh, and then you start developing bacteria on the seat because nobody ever cleans it. So truthfully, if it's up, it's better for you, because one, you know it's clean under there, and two, you can put it down before you sit. That's logic. Some people just want to coast in life, and I don't agree with that. Some people just want to coast in life, and because they want to coast in life, they want everything to be done for them. And I don't think that makes sense. If I had it my way, I would put a device on my toilet so that when I flush, it will automatically lift the seat, forcing you to put it down so that you can sit on it, so that we wouldn't have this discussion. Because every time you flush it, it will lift the seat for you. So you just know it's not down when you go in that bathroom. Let's go ahead and jump on the next one. Make sure y'all like and subscribe.
My boyfriend has me curious. Are there any really genuinely good men out there? I know it's not all men, but it sure feels like most of them. I am 23, have been with my 23-year-old boyfriend for 5.5 years now. I love him dearly, but he's not very thoughtful. He
Stop. She's been with him for 5.5 years and she's 23. So that puts her at 17 and a half. How the fuck are you going to judge the entire male race off of probably the only long term relationship you have ever had? No statistical data has ever been done on any type of experimental research where only one subject defined the entire population. Typically, this type of conversation would be more valid coming from a woman that has had 10, 20, 50 different boyfriends or romantic partners, 60, 70 different hookups, 120, 200 different engagements, where she can say that over the bulk of the men that she's been involved with, all of them ain't shit. Then we would have a complete discussion to have, because it's like, well, I mean, maybe it's the neighborhood you're in, but ma'am, you've only had one since you were 17 and a half. Now we're going to finish what she's got to say, but I just got to ask you, how are you defining all men or majority of men as not good when you've only had one since you were 17? Let's marinate on that as we listen to the rest of what she got to say. Now, y'all can chime in on this. Y'all are watching me on Twitter. Y'all are watching me on Twitch. Those of you that are popping in on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Y'all can comment on this because y'all listening to what I'm listening to. Tell me what you think.
doesn't really give me affirmations unless I speak poorly about myself. He doesn't give me little gifts or make me things. He doesn't do any chores around the house unless asked. And by asked, I mean I need to keep asking for 4 days before it's done. And sometimes he's downright mean to me. Now that's not to say it's all bad, but it's never consistent. And it has me wondering, are all men this way? I've talked to my sister and my friends, and their boyfriends are all similar. My father and my grandfather are similar as well. I do see a select few group of men on social media that appear like the perfect boyfriend, but that's for relationship pages where everything is intentionally crafted that way. And even many of those pages have secret cases of DV or toxicity. I'm not saying it's all men and that it's never women, but I'm just really curious. I'd like to hear from women who have had great relationships with men. Maybe I've just had bad luck.
You've only had one since you were 17, so that's not bad luck. Um, Here's the thing about guys. Some guys, even now, are taught by women at, hold on, is she the mother type? Fuck no, she's not the mother type. That's why she's bitching. Because if she was the mother type, she wouldn't have nothing to complain about. That's what I was just about to get at. Some guys, still in 2025, are taught by women, not men, because only 18% of men get their children after separation or divorce. So the majority of men in 2025 are raised by women. Those women cook and clean for those men from the time they're born until the time they are grown. Your 23-year-old boyfriend has had his mother clean up behind him his entire life. She has fed him when he was hungry. And if he did not order takeout with his own money, he waited until she brought him food. Even if he was sitting in his bedroom playing video games, she would bring the food into his room and feed him. She would remind him to wash his behind. The fact is that because men have not been, and really and truly, ladies, y'all need to think about this. When y'all start separating from men, y'all need to make sure that these boys, at the very least, go with their daddy so that they can learn how to be men. Because the reason why women aren't able to find the kind of men that they're looking for is because the men that exist right now are raised by women. And the way that their mother treats them is the way that they expect their girlfriend to treat them. The way their sister treats them is the way they expect their girlfriend to treat them. So if their mama was cleaning up behind them this whole time, that's what the hell you gonna do. And the same with his mama used to complain about how he need to get up off his behind and go do chores around the house. Is the same way you're gonna complain about how he need to get up off his behind and do chores around the house. You said he's 23. Everybody else in 23 range is gonna have the same issue. But you at 23, if you was dating a 40 something year old man, he been cooking and cleaning for himself for the last 20 years. So he's gonna have, outside of disorganization, he gonna have toilets clean, seats down, kitchen clean, dinner cooked, dishes washed, trash taken out, clothes probably starched, ironed, and pressed, and hung up and put in closets and stuff. You're gonna see what you're looking for in an older man because that man has been taking care of himself for a long period of time. And in our generation, we left when we was 16 through 18. So at 46, we would have been out of the house for 30 years. And we would have been on our own for at least 15 of that because we would end up in relationships with women who don't want to cook, clean, and do stuff for us. So when you ask, is it all men that behave this way? I'm honestly going to have to tell you, yes, in 2025, the majority of men that are raised by women are going to behave exactly this way. Yes, because the men that grow up without their mothers there to cook and clean for them had to learn how to cook and clean for themselves. The ones who grew up with their dads, where their dads were out there working, making that money, and they're going to teach them boys to be responsible, they're going to rationalize how to cook and clean and keep a stable house. Because if she can't keep the house as clean as you, she ain't good enough for you. So, you know, you as a woman, we have to ask you, are you a good woman for him? Because he needs a mother type. He needs a woman that is a nurturer. You're not that person because you're complaining about it. He said there's no there's no thing as luck. Luck is created. Actually, you're right. There is no such thing as luck, and I'm gonna say that luck cannot be created because there's no such thing as luck. You have the statistical probability of your expectations being fulfilled, but you also have to recognize it's not necessarily fate, but it is a level of destiny because she said her father behaves that way. That is the first key factor in the misunderstanding of her analyzation. Women are going to find men that behave like their fathers. Men are going to find women that behave like their mothers. That's what happens. If those kids, women and men alike, those kids, the boys and girls that grew up in a toxic family where mom and dad or mom and mom's boyfriend and dad's girlfriend aren't associating appropriately as adults, those toxic relationships are what the children are going to absorb, and they're going to believe that those types of toxic relationships is what love is all about. Then they're going to find a partner. They're going to be subconsciously attracted to a partner that behaves the exact same way. So if mom flies off the handle, fusses and cusses at dad, and throws stuff, the guy is going to find it attractive when he's talking to a girl that's going to fly off the handle, fussing, cussing, and throw stuff. If a girl is watching dad, God forbid, being abusive, she might find herself attractive to Chris Brown. Doesn't mean that that's what she deserves. It just means that that's what she's subconsciously comfortable with because that's what she grew up in. So she's going to be connected to that type of man. Now, if that's not what you want, instead of your type being what you go after, you need to go after something that's completely not your type, something that doesn't turn you on, something that you're not attracted to, and then learn to love it because since it is different from what you're attracted to, because you're attracted to toxic, you're going to have to date something you're not attracted to because that will be the non toxic thing that you need. So it's more of a self fulfilling prophecy. But yeah, I'm going to tell you that ideally, because 82% of men are raised by women and women cater to their children till their children are in their mid 30s. Yes, the majority of boys grow up to be men that are going to have women that are going to be the mother type, the nurturer, the one that's going to cook and clean and take care of the stuff around the house, even if she's got a career. Now, traditional Western culture, that's what women used to do anyway. Women are going to be pissed off about that, scream misogyny and all this other stuff. But The fact is that when you ladies fought for your liberation, you were not fighting for freedom from responsibility in the home. You were fighting for the freedom to have responsibility outside of the home as well. And if you're going to follow what the women were fighting for, you are still supposed to make sure that your house is in order when you go to work. Now, if you've got a supportive partner, he is supposed to make sure what you're not capable of doing because you ran out of time that he does. But that does not mean that you're not supposed to be prioritizing what's going on at the house. Now, I know a lot of women are not going to like how that rolls out, but ask yourself, if you get a housekeeper because you're busy and he's busy, what kind of housekeeper is it going to be? Think about that. More often than not, 9 times out of 10, you get a housekeeper, you're going to have another woman in your house cooking for your man and cleaning up behind your man. You get a babysitter. Society does not allow for men to be babysitters. Dads can hold other people's children because he has a child, but no family in Western culture, unless he is clearly identified as homosexual and they're okay with that, will be allowed to babysit children without another adult present. Women are the only ones that babysit the children. So women are the only ones that are going to be nurturers and caretakers of the kids. So think about this. You as a woman, because you're going to be a career woman, you have every right to do that. Now have to hire another woman to watch your kids. You're going to have another woman cook and clean up for your man. You're going to have other women in your house getting paid by your man the money that should be going to you to do the things that you feel like you should not do because of the feminist movement. And then ask yourself, why would you allow those women in your home? Why not you do it yourself? I just want to throw that out there. Because don't no man allow another man to do for his woman that he can do for himself. He's like, nah, that's all right. I got it. I'll fix it. He'll break it more trying to fix it to keep a repairman from coming in there. But if a repairman gotta come, he gonna fix it. And he gonna stay there. He gonna watch it get fixed. You see what I'm saying? Michael says, so if you can knit me a cock warmer, give me a call. He tripping. You done had too much going on. My had humor. Or you're looking for a relationship or a housekeeper? Yeah. Well, hold on. That's a good question. But think about this though. In your relationships, is she looking for a relationship or is she looking for a free paycheck? If you're going to ask a question like that, there are masculine roles, there are feminine roles, and even in the alleged egalitarian society that we have right now, the roles are fluid for women. They can do whatever they feel like doing, but the men are restricted to exclusively masculine roles. In scenarios where men are in the feminine role, even though it is acceptable inside of that relationship, it is still socially frowned upon. So it think about it like this. When a man does everything around the house, they don't just say, hey, you know, he's stepping up and he's doing things at the house. What they identify as is a domesticated house husband. The fuck? Soon as you say domesticate, because it ain't never a domesticated housewife, it is just housewife, stay at home mom, not domesticated stay at home mom, not domesticated housewife. It is immediately demasculating when a man stays at the house, looks after the kids, makes sure that the house is in order while the wife is away. Because in Western society, it is not socially acceptable for alpha males to be in feminine roles. So in this scenario, he would expect her to do the stuff around the house that she's complaining about doing because that would be the roles that she's supposed to be fulfilling. Now, she don't want to do that. Y'all need to negotiate that and try to figure out what y'all are gonna do. And whatever both of y'all don't feel like doing, y'all pay somebody else to go do that. But like I said before, if you go, when you go and find you a housekeeper, it's clearly going to be a female, whether you want it to be or not, because most women are housekeepers. There are very few male housekeepers that exist outside of a hotel. And Anybody who's cooking in the house probably going to be a female. There's very few outside of like ultra rich, like Beverly Hills and stuff like that, where male chefs at the house and babysitters are going to be women again. Never have I seen, doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but never have I seen a man babysitting a child that isn't his if he wasn't dating the child's mother. That's the only time that a man babysits a kid is when he's in the friend zone doing the boyfriend role without actually having boyfriend benefits, or he's dating the mother. Those are the only times that the man is a babysitter. You don't just call up and, oh, I want a man this time and just get a random babysitter from a babysitter company. It doesn't work that way. I would be surprised if there was a babysitter company that actually has a large quantity of males on their payroll. Women have considered men creepers when men get employed as anything other than a teacher that involves them being around children. It's insane, but that's the again, Western culture has strict rules. Women don't have to follow them, but men do. Michael says if he does everything or the house, he is P whip. Exactly. Exactly. So if he does do everything around the house, she ain't got no respect for him. If he's a stay-at-home father, yep. He takes on the role of the housekeeper. Exactly. And then they complain about how he ain't shit because he ain't doing. Be a man. Get out there and go find you a job. We can't win for losing. We can't win for losing. But ladies, y'all jumping in, chime in. Tell me what y'all think about this as we go along, because I mean, y'all could probably provide us with a different perspective because we're about right now 54% male-driven podcast from the male perspective. Almost half the podcast is females right now. Ladies, y'all can come in and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. If y'all on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, tell me what you think. Let's go ahead and touch base with the next one.
I think my life is falling apart. So I recently lost all of my close friends, my relationship, and even my job. I would say I'm definitely the problem here. But I'm not sure how to rebuild my life. If it helps, I'm a 23-year-old female. Just need some advice on how to slowly acquire all of these things back into my life.
Oh shit, that's short. Well, let's start with the non-misogynistic response. If you lost your job and all your friends and everything to that effect, you can get a job somewhere else. You can relocate to a new location, start anew, find you a new job using your skill set from your old job in a new location where you can find you some new friends. Um, you can try finding something online. That way you can get paid as a digital nomad where you can work from anywhere in the world as long as you maintain stability with showing up. Then you'll be able to have you a steady income regardless of where you stay. You can relocate to a cheaper state like we talked about earlier this week. That way, instead of you barely making ends meet in an expensive state or an expensive city, you can actually make more than what you need in a cheaper state, in a cheaper city. And that will aid you in your ability to be successful. Or the misogynistic response, just go find you a man with money and do whatever he asks you to do. Be the housewife that he wants you to be, and then you can live under his income and make new friends because you've got plenty of free time and you don't have any financial responsibilities. Because the difference between men and women is that when a woman loses everything, she does not have to put a bunch of effort into rebuilding. She wants to put a bunch of effort into rebuilding. A man has to put a bunch of effort into rebuilding because no woman wants a broke man and no woman wants a homeless man. But no man cares if a woman is broke or homeless as long as she's not trying to spend up all his money living her best life. So, I mean, that's the two outside responses on that. It is what it is. He said, secret, there are male babysitters. They are called mannies. You sitting over here telling me that Manny Fresh is a babysitter? I thought that Manny Fresh was a rapper. I didn't know that he was a babysitter. Cash Money Records. I That's the first time I've ever heard of Manny's. He said Manny's. Add single 23 female seeking friends and possible long term or 150 roses. Yeah, that's actually true because she's single. She's 23. She's made it seem like her world is over. If you were 45 and you said that you had lost everything, you might have would have been up a creek without a paddle because it's harder to find a man in your 40s and 50s because men that are looking for women that reproduce are not going to look at women that can't reproduce anymore. But every man is looking at women between 23 and 28 years old. So, I mean, you are a hot topic right now. So, for you to say that you quote unquote lost it all, what the hell did you lose? You moved out of your mom and them house a couple years ago. You probably just got out of college not last month and you just getting started. You 23, you got like 45 more years to go. He said women whine and men replace. I can't argue with that. Make sure you like and subscribe, ladies. Put your 2 cents in because if you disagree with something, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Let's touch base with the next one.
How do I 27-year-old male get my girlfriend, who's 24, to understand that I can't do it all on my own? Me and my girlfriend have been together for 4 years now. Talks about marriage and kids have been coming up. And well, it's really made me reflect more. A little background. My girlfriend and I got together when I was in college. She had dropped out, but we were both working at a food service place, and she was a manager. We both worked long hours. I'd often work overtime, so I could pay for school, and then would hang out after work. A few months into us dating, I graduated. It took me about a year to find work with my degree, but eventually I took a teaching position, and after the first year, I got a different, more high-paying job that was work from home. I've grown significantly in this career, having had 2 raises for each year, first being 13%, the second being 10%, as I'm a top performer. My GF, though, always said she would go back to school, but she never has. She has bounced around food service work, and then eventually couldn't handle it mentally anymore, quit. And then me and my family found her a WFH job that pays by the task at $12 per hour, since she was going through it at the time. We both agreed the flexibility would be good for her to figure things out, because it was task-based. She could also work whatever hours she wanted. Fast forward 2 years from that moment, and she still works there. Still the same pay. My income has gone up, and hers has consistently gone down. And with the rising cost of living, and me taking on more bills, I cover all of our bills besides her car payment. I feel nearly as broke as I was when I was in food service. I make now, starting this year, $75,000 per year, and last year she made around $9,000 to $10,000. I can't imagine being able to afford kids, or afford a ring, or a wedding, or a house. I've worked my ass off to try and get more raises and promotions, so we can even think about moving into a house at some point. I am even debating about taking some classes at a local community college, so I can apply for a master's to increase my job options and pay. But I just feel so tired. It's like I want to do it, but I feel like I am already doing so much. But it isn't just because of finances. I handle most of our life admin tasks as well, and I try to do sweet things for her, and I just sometimes wish she would do more of that. For instance, 2 days ago, I worked a 15-hour day to try and get a last-minute project done for our executives to present to a high-profile client. I felt so drained, and I still did all of nightly duties, getting coffee for the morning setup, getting the shower prepared. And she asked me if I had gotten her pajamas, and I said, no, I didn't know what you might want to wear, and maybe I'm making it up in my head, but I'm pretty sure she gave me an annoyed look. She was playing a video game. That day, I woke up at 6 a.m. to work out, do some education. I have been trying to study computer science, and then worked. She slept until about 1 p.m. I feel like I have all these goals, and she doesn't have many. Mostly she to get things too. But I sort of feel like I am the one who is expected to make everything happen. Like I don't feel like we are building a life together, but that I am building a life for her. There are just so many things I feel like I haven't been able to do because in a way, we've been waiting for her to figure out what she wants. Like, I wanted to travel a bit before turning 30. I have gotten more interested in tech. I'm in design, and this blend of tech and design, that makes me want to pursue a master's degree. I wanted to feel like I could financially breathe for once, which I haven't felt for almost my entire life, except for when I first got my teaching job. Like I feel like my life has been struggle since forever, and I just really would like to not struggle for a couple years before adding new stressors, like a house and kids. I've always wanted to be able to give any future kids I had a life I didn't get to have. My parents had me right at the end of high school, and so things were financially difficult in my upbringing. My parents worked hard, but I see the toll it took on them, and I see the things we weren't able to do. I appreciate all that they did, but I always thought, I have an opportunity to plan this out, making smart decisions, and create financial stability for myself and any future children I have, as I didn't have a kid as young as they did. It feels mean to say this, but I feel like in a way, sometimes I do have a dependent already, and I feel like even thinking about having kids is like asking a single parent to have another one. I feel like that's mean to say, but I feel like I carry the load and all the responsibility for our future, and I'm just tired. My GF and I used to fight early on in our relationship, but she said she had trauma, and it was things that were triggering her. We worked through it. This year, though, she had a psychotic break that was extremely traumatic, and it sort of derailed a lot of things. We moved back in with my parents. It was a very rapid move, so I had to take on some debt to make it happen, as she needed to be around people for stability. Therapist said it was a good idea, though she doesn't do therapy anymore. And I guess this gave me enough of a view to see that some of our issues we had weren't normal, that not even trauma could explain some of them. I realized I had been silencing myself about almost everything. This year I have been more outspoken, and because of that, I've almost ended the relationship twice. One was because I told her, very vulnerably, that when we would fight or when I could feel a fight coming, I would get alerts from my Apple Watch about my heart rate, and my body would start having tremors. This made me afraid to talk to her about things. She actually fought with me about it and was angry at me for it. I threw in the towel, as it was really hard for me to tell her about that to begin with. However, she camped outside my parents' house for hours until we eventually talked. I used this to say what ways the relationship needed to change. Since that, and one other time where things were at a breaking point, things have gotten a lot better in terms of conflict. But in terms of job and future stuff, it's the same. I can't help but sometimes think she is holding me back. I really hate thinking that, but I just think about the weight and stress that would be lifted off of me. I love her. I just wish she would help lift some of this stress, so I wasn't feeling so exhausted by it. I also want to keep moving in life. Hit the next milestone. But I can't even see a timeline for it since it is all primarily on me to make happen. I guess my question is, how do I ask my GF to grow up a bit more and help build our future, but also get her to really understand that? I just can't see it being possible to do it on my own.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what good men feel like on a regular basis. The previous woman asked, are there good men out there? Because she didn't think she had one. This is what a good man sounds like. Working a full-time job, repetitively getting more and more raises. This man is making 75,000 a year. He's taking care of his girl. He's doing the stuff around the house, preparing her coffee for in the morning, getting her bath together, finding her pajamas. He's catering to her at the house and making all the money for the house. She's barely able to keep a job. He said between 9 and 10,000 a year. Do you realize that children get more money than that from their parents as an allowance? And she's not applying herself to much of anything. And now he's catering to her ability to break down. I'm not saying that she's a bad woman, but this is what men are willing to do for their girlfriends because of the quantity of time that they have spent together. Questions about marriage come up because he hasn't quit on the relationship. 70 to 90% of women walk away from a relationship that they could have saved if they would have applied more effort to the relationship. 70 to 90% of men do exactly what this man is doing and go the extra mile to carry the relationship on his back, hoping that eventually she will change so that she can carry some of the weight too, which would then allow them to thrive together. But like Michael said, he does not feel appreciated in this relationship, but he's invested too much in this relationship. Michael said your life is too valuable to waste. You're right, but he feels like the amount of life that he has invested in this relationship is too valuable to throw away. It's hard to let go sometimes. You're in between a rock and a hard place because at some point you'll either have to charge it to the game and take that L and move on with your life and continue to improve, or you will have to continue to feel like you are dragging a dead body with you as you try to be successful in life because she is not contributing equivalently to any area of your life. Because if you didn't move back in with your parents, you splitting the income with them, they got an extra mouth to feed. You got mom cleaning up behind the girlfriend because the girlfriend ain't doing nothing. I don't get it. I don't get it. When ladies, when y'all look at men, this is the kind of men that y'all are missing out on because you're not paying attention to their character. You're not paying attention to their personality. You're not paying attention to their drive. You're not paying attention to the effort that they put into the relationship to try to make you happy. Most men, masculine, alpha, beta men, sigma, whatever men, do all of this to try to make you happy. And the question is, what are y'all doing in these relationships to deserve all this effort from these men? And ladies, hey, I'll wait. Y'all can figure it out. Make sure that y'all dive in and tell me what are y'all doing to deserve all this effort. Michael says if you're walking around on eggshells, get out of the relationship, please. He right. I can't say that she's a leech, but what I can say is that she is not appreciating the effort that he is putting into the success of this relationship, and she is not reciprocating. And I do agree, she is not going to change. It doesn't have nothing to do with psychotropic meds. She is just not willing to change. Whatever path that she is on, she is going to stay on that path because outside of some type of traumatic change in her life, she's got no reason to do any better. But when you break up with her because she ain't got nowhere else to go because she don't have a job, she's grown, so she might not be able to go back and live with her parents. She don't want to be homeless, so she will try to make up with you to get back into your house. But if you refuse to take her back in, she's gonna be on the street until she find another man to take her up off the side of the road because she ain't got no support system. She doesn't have any ambition or no goals, no financial plan, no reserve for just in case money. If you have a heart attack and you can't work for a couple months, how the fuck is she gonna survive? You said that your Apple Watch is notifying you that you having heart problems when you know that an argument is about to come about. If you're in a relationship that's causing you to have heart problems, then you need to put a stop to this relationship, bro. She can do better. It doesn't matter if she's got psychotropic meds or not. She can do better. Crazy people can have fantastic relationships. Sane people can have chaotic relationships. It ain't got nothing to do with her mental state, the lack of motivation that's there. But you have to put your foot down and say, look, probation period, you are going to perform. And if I don't see productivity, the relationship is over. If I don't see contribution, the relationship, it gives her enough time to find somebody else to move out and move in with or whatever. But at the same time, it's not gonna work. Well, there's going to be a level of emotional control because she is navigating her way to stay into a relationship that she's not putting any effort into. And there's also going to be a cross level of control because as a man, he's going to have to put his foot down As the provider in this relationship, he's going to have to put his foot down to self preserve his own sanity and his own health. He has to put his foot down. And that's going to be a level of control that he's going to have to take back and say, look, if you're not going to perform my non negotiable expectations for behavior, then I can't stay in a relationship with you. You have to get out of my mother's house so that I can take my efforts and go move into my own place. Because at 75,000 a year and she was making 10,000 a year, y'all should have been able to live a $40,000 a year lifestyle and put the other 40,000 in the stocks, bonds, and real estate. If y'all had 70, if your 75,000 a year got you living in your mama basement because you ain't making enough money because you're spending too much of your money on her, that's not helping you. Exactly. She'll drag you down. He said she'll drag her down, or he will drag her down. No, she will drag him down. And then when he gets tired of staying down, he gonna get rid of her. But then he's got to rebuild himself back up where he would have lost the number of years that he tried staying in that relationship trying to make that work when he could have just said fuck it early on. Is I don't believe in getting rid of people so quickly, but you have to understand. He said that the pendulum on life swings both ways. The pendulum does, but also at the same time, you have to understand that certain times in relationships, you have to communicate the proactive performance of another person. And then when you don't see that proactive performance after a period of time, or if they start for a couple of weeks after the argument, then they stop. It's like, look, if I don't see this consistency, you gotta go because I'm not going to take on additional financial responsibility. And then she's talking about having kids, and then he's gonna have to pay all this money for a ring, pay all this money for a wedding, and all, and then he's gonna be paying for these kids and all. He ain't never gonna be able to move out of his mama house because he can't afford to. He's taking care of a grown child, and he's gonna have a child with a grown child and have to take care of two children after paying for this big old celebration where everybody coming to the wedding gonna be her people. Because weddings aren't for men. Weddings aren't for men. When you think about who all go to the wedding, it be the man's 3 to 5 best friends, the man's mom and or dad, maybe an uncle or auntie. So just the 5 people in the front row, and the rest of the fucking event is for the woman's people. The rest of the event is her aunts and uncles and sisters and brothers and girlfriends and boyfriends and ex-boyfriends and all these other folks that's showing up. All these people coming for her. These weddings ain't for men. If it was up to the man, it'd be like a $75 justice of the peace, 2 witnesses. We married. Shit, we don't even need rings. It's a financial contract with the U.S. government for tax exemption anyway. If you really were trying to do it in the name of the Lord, you just get married on Sunday during church. You don't even gotta have no big old service. You can have it done during communion. Like, hey, before we walk out of here with the 300 people in this room, can you just pronounce us husband and wife and just tiptoe right on out of there? Put $10 in the collection plate as a thank you, and just go on head off in the name of the Lord and just make it do what it do. But the buying of the wedding ring and the paying for the wedding, all that stuff is for the women. That ain't for the men. It do happen with girls too. It do happen with girls too. But see, when women are carrying that workload, women are working a full-time job and taking care of the house, and the man is at the house playing video games and waking up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, not going to college, not trying to find a better job. We say that the man ain't shit and she need to leave him. We've had a woman on the show that complained about this a few months back. Exact same dynamic, except she was the breadwinner. And I said back then, if the roles was reversed, most people would feel like, oh, that's good because he's supposed to be a provider as a man. But I still say, even now, that since there isn't balanced effort in a relationship, it is not good. It is not good because one person is carrying all the weight. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, one person is carrying all the weight. And it should not be that way. There should be a balance. It cannot be equal. Even if it's 49-51, it's not going to be equal. Somebody's going to have a little bit more responsibility in certain areas, but it is supposed to be remotely balanced where you're doing the stuff that I can't do because I'm doing the stuff that you can't do. Michael says a grown child, a woman. and they lived in his mother's basement. Yeah, I thought he had a job and a place of his own. Is the kid his? Okay, so what happened is that she was talking about wanting to have kids. He had to make a drastic move because she had a mental breakdown. That caused him to max out all of his money. He wasn't able to maintain the standard of living that they had while he's trying to recover from the debt that he built up from the massive meltdown that she had. He's living in his mother's house to recuperate. She's over here talking about having kids and getting married, but he's trying to get his life back together after the last catastrophic break she had, and she's not helping any. So they don't have kids. But he said if he did have kids under his current situation, he would be trying to recover from the financial devastation he just got out of. He's going to be supporting her because she's not supporting herself. He would be supporting a kid. She's not helping with anything around the house. He's doing everything around the house and they're in his mother's house. So if it wasn't for his mother, they would be out on the street because he's trying to do everything on his own and he just lost everything trying to save her and she is not reciprocating. That's what he was implying. And I'm like, yeah, that's too much work. That's too much work. For better or for worse is what we vow as men, but we stay in it for the long haul. And women need to understand this is what men are like. Men go on the long haul. We put in so much effort, hoping that this person will never leave our side. But the person that we have doesn't put that kind of effort into hoping that the man doesn't leave her side. And if women put as much effort into their men as men put into their women, women would not have multiple boyfriends on a regular basis. You might have five in your life at the most. Because when you young and you dating the young men are gonna do something stupid like cheat on you because they're trying to sleep with all the women with a pulse. You might leave them, and then you're gonna find a man that's gonna stick with you for the rest of your life. And by the time you get to that level, when you start dating more mature men in their 30s, you're gonna find a man that's gonna be the long haul kind of man, and that's gonna be the end of it. But if women were not dating until they were like 25 looking for marriage, 23 to 25 looking for marriage, and they found a man 35 to 45. And that first man that they got, he's looking for a long-term relationship and she's looking for long-term stability. The women would have less relationships, more pure, less trauma, and more success in relationships with longer marriages. It's just what it is. Where's her family? I don't know, but apparently not nowhere near them because if I was him, I would have dropped her off at her mama house and we would have been meeting each other from two separate houses. Nah, we not all moving in with her mama. She's gonna move in with her mama. I'm gonna go stay with my mama. I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna come and see what she's doing. And if she ain't doing nothing, her mama can deal with that psychopathic shit because her mama knew that that was a thing. And when I met mama, mama should have warned me that that was a problem. Mama didn't warn me, and I wish Mama would have told me. Let's go ahead and touch base with the next one.
I am 20 and my girlfriend is 19, have been dating for 7 months now and the relationship is going great. We
Good.
rarely fight or argue, and when we do we can usually resolve the issues. I recently was looking through her photo gallery on her phone looking for a specific photo and I had the
Uh
sudden
oh.
urge to look into her hidden folder. I'm usually
Ooh.
not a nosy person and I wanted to respect her privacy, but something just compelled me to look. I saw pictures of her and another guy and it really made me sick to my stomach. While the
Ooh.
pictures are from before we meet, what upset me was that they're still on her phone and that she keeps them hidden. Well, no.
I am 23 years old and
Hold on. Remember on the electric fence, we knew it was hot, but being young, we had to test it. Like that little boy on Jurassic Park. You know you're not supposed to go there, but you're gonna go there anyway. Look, that was quick. I'm gonna tell you real story. Ladies, fellas, I tell y'all the same shit. Don't go looking for some shit that you ain't ready to deal with. Now, luckily, these are before y'all got together. She put them into a hidden folder so that your ass wouldn't see them because she ain't got past them that special moments yet. You just let it be. But at the same time, like you went looking for that. I'm gonna tell you as a man the same way I would tell the women when they was going through their man phone and found a man making out with another chick. You were trusted to only go into the phone for whatever the hell you was going into the phone for. You was not supposed to go snooping for nothing extra outside of what you went into the phone for. And as a result, you found something that you wasn't supposed to find. Full transparency requires no judgment, no resentment, and no retaliation. They trusted you with their phone to go get whatever the hell you was going in there for, and you only coming out of that phone with whatever the hell you went in there for. You look for something that you wasn't supposed to find, and you find it. That's your happy ass. You have to swallow that emotion the same way a Catholic priest has to look past a murderer's confession, because you should not be snooping in her hidden folder if the photo you was looking for is not in that hidden folder. You should not be in her hidden folder. The same way, no woman should be going through no man's text messages just because she needed to take a selfie of herself. No woman should be going through a man's emails or going through a man's internet history or scrolling through none of his DMs or nothing like that. If you don't trust the other person, that's your happy ass. You need to either learn to trust them or get out of the relationship. Get you some therapy or get out of the relationship. But when you go snooping in the phone, if there's some romantic videos, if there's hitting people for the past, and she did a bad job of hiding that information, because what she should have done is put it into a hidden folder that had a different password than the password that unlocks the phone, which means that even though she gave you a password to get into the phone to get the photo that you wanted, there would have been another locked photo that you couldn't gain access to because that's none of your damn business. And since it was before your time, she ain't got no secrets about nobody else that she's involved with now that she's in a relationship with you. So don't worry about it. Just let it go, bro. He said he was hung. Yeah, he roasted himself sitting over here being Snoopy. You they say curiosity killed the cat. Don't be going over there looking for trouble if you ain't trying to handle it. All right, we got one more.
Recently my life changed completely. For 3 years I worked at a car dealership. I started as a salesman, but in reality I did everything: expert reports, delivery of units, activations, reception of 0 kilometers. I worked more than 10 or 12 hours a day, without recognition and earning very little. Still, I learned a lot about sales, negotiation, and client management. The problem was that unfair situations occurred within the company. A poorly managed internal conflict ended up affecting my name and reputation, to the point that many people pointed out that I had done something wrong, when I had not. That situation closed many work doors for me and destroyed almost everything I had built. I lost my apartment, my car, my partner, and my financial stability. I had to move back in with my parents and start completely from scratch. Despite everything, I didn't want to give up. Today I have a small business renting and selling motorcycles, which I put together with the little I had left and a lot of effort. The business works, but it still generates low income, since much of what comes in goes to cover debts or reinvest. However, in a few months it could start to be profitable. My dilemma is that, no matter how much I try to find a permanent job to have a more stable income, they won't accept me anywhere because of what happened at my old job. And although I try to stay positive, sometimes I feel lost and alone, not knowing if I'm really doing the right thing. If you were in my place, 23 years old, debt-free, living with my parents, with a business that works but provides little income for now, what would you do to grow faster and get back on your feet? Any financial, emotional, or similar advice would help me a lot.
Yeah, yes. So first, Michael, it was her phone he was going into to get a photo. I don't know why she didn't send it to him, but he went in there looking. You're right. A person's phone at their private place, it is more sacred than a journal or a diary, and you shouldn't go in there looking for secrets. Now, for this man, you 23 years old, you in your mama house, you got job security, you got housing security. You're not making that much money, but you're making enough money to take the difference between what you don't got to pay in your mama house and invest it. So There's two things that you can do with this. You can expand on your business to reach a larger market. You can expand on advertisement to increase the quantity of supply that, or to increase the demand for the current supply that you have. You are working for yourself. Instead of you trying to segue back into kissing somebody's ass for a job, stay working for yourself. Keep building your own empire. You don't have to be a billionaire. You just have to make enough money to hold yourself down. If any event that while you're along the way, you might find somebody that um, you can partner with who can aid you in being more successful. You can turn what you're doing into a chain. You know what I mean? You can go from selling motorcycles and scooters in one location to selling motorcycles and scooters in multiple locations. You can go from running this business yourself to paying somebody to run the business for you. And then you don't even got to show up outside of collecting the money and paying the employees. You can put a third person in there to handle payroll where these people just get paid to be out there, and everything is done electronically right now anyway, because most people pay with credit cards, so they can buy off the inventory what you tell them to sell, and then you can just issue them their paycheck. You don't even got to go to the store anymore. Now you're looking at spending more of your time looking for more locations to expand, finding better places to put your business where your primary business generates revenue to support the startup of an expansion business in a more prime market. You already self-sustainable. Just keep building on that. Emotionally, don't worry about it. You 23. In 20 years, if you stay the path, you will build up. And in 23, you'd be 43 with your own self-sustainable business that you could retire off of, because everything would be running itself and you would just be collecting the paycheck. You ain't got to be rich. You can have enough money to cover the house that you live in, where you can live alone and have extra money to invest. If you don't have to take your finances that you're investing and reinvest it into your business, you good. Your bills is paid. You got no debt. You've got savings. You've got emergency funds. You've got a self-sustainable income. You get up and go to work when you feel like it. You're starting the dream that everybody else was saying. So enjoy it, focus on it, work on it, build it up. That would be my advice to you. I would just tell you to enjoy it, work on it, build it up, and continue staying your own boss. Build your own business cards. Go to certain business soirees and business meetings. Network with people. Find out other people who are in the same industry where you might be able to exchange product with them or buy product from them at a discount so that you can sell it on your lot, or find other ways to get your product cheaper so that you can increase your revenue. Maybe partner with a mechanic shop that you can get a percentage of their profits because they're utilizing your facility to fix cars when they're not fixing your vehicles, stuff to that effect, to kind of expand and make your dealership an all-purpose dealership slash mechanic shop, and just live the life, bro. That's the best way to go. So, since that was the last one for tonight, I want to say, let's get it, guys. Ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, we're gonna keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So, ladies, please make it make sense. Fellas, I tell y'all on a regular basis that I give y'all this information to make y'all higher value men. So, if you take the advice that I give y'all, y'all can improve your lives on a financial basis as well as on a personal basis. Ladies, the information is not exclusive to the men. Y'all can take this exact same information and help yourself become higher value women by focusing on the things that you can change in your life that you are not satisfied with. You can improve your life for the better. So, with that being said, we got some good stuff coming up for y'all on Monday and Tuesday of this week. I'm going to be trying to get it put up between now and tomorrow night. So make sure that y'all stay tuned for it. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Hit that follow button on Twitter. Hit the follow button on Twitch. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys on time, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Well, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But for those of you that's watching us in Central America, it's going to be 10 o'clock. And for those of you that's watching us in California, it's going to be 7 o'clock. But we're going to see you on time, top of the hour tomorrow night.
That's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.